Welcome back to Films Retold. Today, we're going to be covering part 2 of the Lexington letter, specifically the Macrodata Refiner's Orientation Booklet. Man, that's a mouthful. If you haven't read the Lexington letter yet, I have a video detailing the first part of it. From this point on, there will be spoilers for both the show and the Lexington letter, so if you're not caught up, you have been warned. Okay, let's get into it. Annie Peggy told her outie that the answers she's looking for are in the handbook, so let's review it and see if we can find anything new. This is the cover page for the Macrodata Refiner's Orientation Booklet. It reads, Instruction Handbook for Newly Severed Employees. It's safe to assume that every newly severed employee gets a copy of a handbook like this. However, this handbook seems to be designed specifically for MDR employees. We know from our interactions with optics and design that each department really doesn't know much about the other, so this would mean each department probably has their own customized handbook that relates to their own department. Keep this in mind because this will be important at the end of the video. Page 2 reads, Welcome to the Lumon family. Congratulations on your new job. All of us are thrilled you become part of Lumon Industries. From the humble beginnings of a small topical solve company to the world's leading pioneer in biotechnologies, Lumon has thrived thanks to workers like you. Welcome to the Lumon family. Page 3 reads, What does it mean to be severed? By agreeing to join the Severance program, you have consented to your perceptual chronologies being surgically split. What this means is that your access to your memories will be spatially dictated from now on. You will be unable to access your outside life memories whilst on the Lumon severed basement floor, nor access your work memories upon your ascent and return to the outside world. This effect is permanent. Fun fact, becoming severed may sound invasive, but we assure you that the procedure is quick and painless. The severance chip is implanted into the brain through a needle that is inserted via the back of the neck into the memory portion of the brain. The procedure is handled by a world-class medical staff directed by a fluoroscopy monitor, which allows for precision placement of the chip. The procedure takes just a few minutes, and recovery is immediate. Page 4. What does it mean to be a refiner? A refiner is someone who makes something pure, more usable, and more accessible, whether it be the oil industry, the sugar industry, or our industry. As a Lumon refiner, you will be removing impurities from data and reorganizing that data into its purest form. You have been selected for this position because we recognize in you both the intuition and the emotional intelligence to perform those tasks quickly, efficiently, and more importantly, reliably. Essentially, a macrodata refiner sorts data sets from different categories into digital bins, a task which requires immense skill and focus. Take pride in knowing that you have been selected for your vast intellectual prowess. We know that you may be curious about what the numbers mean. However, knowing the true meaning behind the numbers could inhibit your natural intuition. Page 5. How will you know what to work on? First, you will be assigned a macrodata file. This selection has been made carefully by your superior. After opening your file, you'll be met with a sea of numbers that seems to stretch endlessly in all directions. Over time, certain clusters of numbers will start to make you feel a certain way. There are 4 categories of numbers, each of which elicits a different feeling. A refiner's job is to fill each of the 5 bins evenly with 4 kinds of number clusters. Once every bin is properly filled, the file is 100% refined, and the job is done. Page 6. What are the 4 kinds of numbers? As a macrodata refiner, it is important to learn the 4 different types of numbers you will encounter throughout the process of refining a data set. Every number will elicit one of 4 emotional responses within you, and it's important to be aware of that 4 types so that you can more quickly assess and categorize your emotional response. This will, in turn, allow you to more quickly sort through the numbers into their appropriate bins. Here, Sevi will teach you about the different types of numbers. Number 1, woe. These numbers elicit melancholy or despair. Number 2, frolic. These numbers elicit joy, gaiety, or ecstasy. Number 3, dread. These numbers elicit fear, anxiety, or apprehension. Number 4, malice. These numbers elicit rage or desire to do harm. Page 7. How do I refine a number cluster? Sorting numbers is easy once you get the hang of this simple method. Follow along with the steps of sorting numbers on the following pages. After you sort one set, it's easy to keep going until the whole file is complete. Page 8, all about refining numbers. Turn on your computer, sit back, and watch as your computer cycles through its boot up process. Do not be alarmed by the many lines of text appearing on your screen. This is completely normal. Your computer is simply loading the macrodata refining program. Now watch as the iconic logo of our beloved company spins onto the screen. This is all part of the computer's boot up sequence. Page 9. After the logo disappears, a small blinking cursor will appear in the upper left of your screen. Using your keyboard, type the name of the file on which you will be working on and then press Enter. If you have not been assigned a file, or if you cannot remember the name of the file you were assigned, ask your supervisor to refresh your memory. After pressing enter, your computer will load a file Rolodex. Using the arrow keys, page up or down until you locate the tab that shows the name of the file you were assigned. Click on the Rolodex card. Page 10. When the Rolodex disappears, your computer will now load the Macrodata refining program. Take a moment to familiarize yourself with the interface using the key below. A. Project name. This is where the name of your file will appear. B. Progress bar. This bar shows how complete your file is at any given time. C. Data field. These are the numbers that need to be refined. D. Bins. There are 5 bins into which you will drop data sets. E. Bin progress bar. These bars show the fullness of each bin. F. Coordinates. These numbers show you the relative location in the data field. Page 11. Using the rollerball, move the magnifying glass around the data field and watch as the numbers enlarge as it passes over them. Next, use the arrow keys to move left, right, up, and down within the data field. This will reveal more numbers. When you are ready, try highlighting a group of numbers by clicking and scrolling over a data set. Then use the cursor to select the bin in which you wish to drop the numbers. Once clicked, you will see the top of the bin open. Once you have clicked the bin, watch as the highlighted data set flies down into the open bin. You have just refined your first set of numbers. Page 12. After the numbers enter the bin, a progress report will be revealed. This report shows the levels of each number type within that bin. Should the numbers not be the correct match for the bin in which you attempted to refine them, a thumbs down will appear on the screen to inform you that the refinement was not successful. The data set will then return to its original place in the data field. Page 13. Success. You did it. Congratulations. You should now have all the information you need to keep refining data sets. However, should any further questions arise, feel free to ask your supervisor for clarification and help with the procedures. There you have it. Refining numbers is as easy as sorting them into bins. Happy refining. Page 14. What is the office dress code? All clothing is to be monochromatic and solid in color. Permitted colors are black, white, navy, gray, and pastels. All attire is to be free of labels, as labels will activate the detectors placed in the entry and exit points of the severed floor. Don't worry about remembering the dress code when you leave the office, as you are dressed by your Audi. This information has also been given to them. Page 15. Health and hygiene. Keeping our employees healthy is the top priority here at Lumon. Hygiene is imperative for keeping your innie and outie as healthy as can be. One of the most simple and effective ways of keeping you healthy at the workplace is to wash your hands frequently and thoroughly. Employees must wash their hands at least 10 times per day, before and after eating, before and after when using the facilities, when coming in contact with a coworker. Below, learn the proper hand washing technique. Number 1. First, turn on the faucet and let the water reach a balmy temperature. Run your hands under the water, then turn off the tap to conserve water. Apply the Lumon branded soap. Lather the soap in your hands by rubbing them together with the soap. Make sure to lather the backs of your hands and between each of your fingers. Then examine under your nails and remove any unwanted grime or debris. Scrub for 20 seconds. A helpful hint, sing happy birthday to Kier in your head, and by the time Kier would be ready to blow out the candles, your hands will be clean. Turn on the faucet and rinse your hands until no suds remain, then thoroughly dry your hands. Page 16. Interdepartment fraternization. Important. All members of each of the departments on the severed floor are encouraged to stay within their designated departmental area only. We institute this measure to contain the spread of pathogens and ultimately to keep our employees healthy. Fraternizing with or visiting other departments is discouraged as it can increase the chances of spreading a disease. We don't want to lose employees due to sickness, not just because we care about each and every one of you, but also because the work we do here at Lumon contributes to the well-being of humanity. Remember, if our workflow suffers, then in the long run, so does the world. Page 17. The Wellness Center. The Wellness Center's purpose is to soothe our employees who are dealing with emotional deficiencies. The center is skilled and well-equipped to help you free your mind and once again regain emotional stability. An appointment with the Wellness Center can be made through your department supervisor. Remember, a sound mind and a calm spirit are key to a strong work ethic. Page 18. Communication with your outie. Unsupervised communication with your outie is prohibited. Each exit entrance to the severed floor has been fitted with the latest code detecting technologies. It is best to think of this technology as a metal detector, but instead of a metal, it is for written symbols. All notes will be confiscated, followed by the immediate visit to the break room. Remember, your outie requested to join the Severance program, so it's important that you respect their choice. Please help preserve their work-life balance. Page 19. Work Incident Notices. Here at Lumon, we do everything we can to ensure the safety of our workers, but unfortunately, incidents in the workplace can happen. If this does occur, your Audi will receive a notice explaining the nature of the incident. Discipline will be administered to match the seriousness of the incident. Fun fact, if you work hard and respect your coworkers, your experience at Lumon will be very rewarding. Page 20. Incentives. Reaching 100% completion is a win in and of itself, but we here at Lumon want to show you how proud we are of your progress by incentivizing. You will be rewarded incrementally based on the percentage you have achieved. On the next page is a handy chart explaining our incentives. Page 21. 10% complete gives you a pencil eraser. 25% complete gives you a finger trap. 75% complete gives you a music dance experience. 100% complete gives you a character portrait. Page 22. Lumon Core Principles. On the Lumon team, we are united by the core principles listed here. Although set out individually, these principles overlap and are intertwined. They should all be considered together. Note the emphasis on the good social skills because we are not just a team. We are a community. One could even say a family. The 9 core principles are vision, verve, wit, cheer, humility, benevolence, nimbleness, probity, and wiles. Page 23. Thanks for following along and welcome to the Lumon family. Page 24. Copyright of Lumon Industries, Inc. All rights reserved. Printed in the USA. Do not distribute. Designed by Kat M., Daniel A., and Tansy M. And that, folks, is the Macrodata Refiner's Orientation Booklet. Now that we've gone over it, let's talk about some theories we have and see if we can get some information out of this. In the beginning, I talked about why it was important that other departments don't really know about each other. Well, the last page of the handbook shows that it was authored by Kat M., Daniel A., and Tansy M. After a bit of investigating, I was able to find 2 of the authors on the security room wall. Kat M. seems to work in a department abbreviated CL, while Daniel A. works in a department abbreviated CE. Daniel A. also appears inside Irvin's files. From this, we learn his last name, his address, and perhaps that he has a brother named James, who is also severed. Both of these employees are from different departments, yet know enough about macrodata refinement to make an entire handbook on it. So what does this mean? Perhaps Daniel and Kat both worked in MDR originally, and before they left, they created the handbook for their replacements. Maybe they were promoted to new positions in the company and had their memories of MDR wiped. We do know protocols that exist named Clean Slate. Perhaps this is how Lumon handles promoting their employees. Or perhaps they weren't promoted at all, and instead acted out the same way that we see the current MDR team doing, and this caused Lumon to wipe them and change their departments. This would somewhat make sense because if you remember when we first met Mark, he's very much like a company man. He wasn't really acting out until Helly showed up. Another possible hint to this would be all the information Irvin has. He has lists of severed employees and memories of places like the elevator, even though we never saw him go there. Maybe Irvin was also in another department before he acted out, so they transfer him to MDR, with his memories wiped clean. Now for this theory to even work, the Clean Slate protocol would have to have flaws. Maybe it's something new that they're testing. This gains a bit more traction when you think about Miss Casey's situation. Milchick tells Cobell that it's good that Mark and Miss Casey don't remember each other. It means the chip has worked. Well, we know the chip works already, so what could he be talking about? Perhaps the Clean Slate protocol. After all, when we last see Miss Casey, she's sent down the testing floor in an elevator that Irvin has been meticulously painting in his free time. Okay, let's move on to Sevy. Peggy, of course, has the best description of him, but I'll let you read that for yourself. The handbook shows Sevy dropping numbers into the bins, telling us that the chip is making them feel emotions when they see the numbers. I don't know if anyone is familiar with MK Ultra, but this sounds eerily similar. The story goes that the government was creating sleeper agents that were mind controlled to activate when a phrase or certain data was presented to them. Well, what if the files they are completing in MDR activate other severed people to carry out these attacks? I know these theories are pretty out there, but I figure since the season has ended, we could have one last crack at some of the remaining questions we had. But okay, that's it for this video. Let me know your theories in the comments. I really do enjoy interacting with you all and hearing what you all have to say. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.